Hi, everyone. This is Melanie Bishop and David Collum from Missouri Baptist University. This is our first time using GoToMeeting, so please forgive us as we are navigating these uncharted waters. For the purposes of our GoToMeeting today, we are muting everyone's microphones. And so if you have a question at any point in our presentation, please feel free to put it in the chat line, and we'll do our best to process those questions as they come up. And if we feel like it would be easier to allow you to talk, we'll unmute your phone, or sorry, I keep calling it phone. We will unmute your microphone and allow you an opportunity to speak. But for the purposes of a smoother meeting with this many participants, it's just better if we mute everyone. We have turned on our webcam, so depending on what device you're using, if you would like to see us, then we're going to use the webcam just for a bit during our presentation so that you can see us, and then we'll probably turn that off as we go through the rest of the presentation. At this point, are we ready to get started,
Ready.
David?
Ready.
Okay. Let's see. Thank you so much for joining us today. If you're like us, the summer's a little bit slower than the typical school year, but there's still much work to be done. So I truly appreciate you taking time out of your summer day to just spend a little bit of time. My goal is that our meeting will last no longer than 30 minutes, probably about 30 minutes, and then we will get you on your way. David, do you want to review the agenda?
Yeah, what we're going to talk about, guys, most of you that signed in, I have talked to or know. There's a couple I do not, so welcome. What we're going to try to do today is go over what MBU will provide to each university for the study, what we expect from your role will be in the study, talk a little bit about the collaboration agreements, a little bit about how the data will be collected, analyzed, and distributed, and a little bit, especially in the IRBs, some of you begin writing your IRBs, and we're going to talk about some issues there that I think will make it easier for you to complete your IRBs. And then we're going to talk about how we're going to do presentations, publications, and then at the very end, I'll sort of give you an update on the number of participants we have so far from all the universities. So we're looking forward to getting started here.
I apologize if this is redundant information. If you have heard me share this at any of the conferences that David and I have presented, but I just wanted to give a brief overview to remind you from my role, if there are any division chairs or deans on our call with us today, what my role is and why I'm interested in this study, and really excited and grateful that David has taken this on and has done all the work, and he's very passionate about this work. And from my perspective, why it's so important that we not only do this in our university, but we broaden the cast that net out a little bit wider and figure out how this product, how simSchool can be used in other environments, other university settings. And I'm just excited about what results come of it and how we can increase knowledge in the field and ultimately help our educator preparation students be prepared to work in diverse settings. The first bullet here, it's an alternative for students who don't have access to diverse learning environments. It's a continual struggle that we have, is to make sure that our teacher candidates have access to diverse environments. That's easier for us in some settings than it is in others. We have many regional learning centers that are in rural areas, and they don't always have access to diverse learning environments. So I'm particularly interested in how this can help those students be prepared for diverse learning environments, because when they get certified, they could get a job in a different environment than where they grew up. So it's my job, it's our job to make sure they have experience working with diverse students. The second reason is to provide an opportunity for students to experience a wide variety of diversities. And that's one of the great things about simSchool. Simulated learning is that we can create the classroom with a wide variety of diversities. And even if we could place our students in a diverse school setting, the classroom for which they do their placement may not have diversities in that class. It's just very difficult to monitor that. So that's one of the beauties of this product and any of the simulations. Determine validity and reliability of the implementation at MBU. And that's my final, that's my big goal. At the end of the day, I want to make sure it works and that it's valid and reliable, and that we're not just doing this because it's out there. I want to make sure it's working. And when I say working, that's what does the data tell us? And as we've been working on this a couple of years, we have taken the data that we have received on our campus and tweaked how we offer it. We've changed how we do it at our regional learning centers and how we do it here on main campus. How do we embed it in courses? So through the data we've already collected, we've figured out ways to make the experience better for students. So at the end of the day, those are my three main reasons why I'm interested in the study.
Okay, now I'm going to talk about the different roles. Some of you I've sent the resource tabs and information to. Some of you have seen this and some may have not, but I just wanted to go through these and explain sort of how we see the design going forward. Most of you have sent in your design forms. If you haven't, please do that. That is giving us an idea of how many participants we have and how many universities are participating. Right now, we're sitting right between 20 and 25 universities, and we'll talk a little bit about those in just a few minutes. But I will be designing a study where I'm using those design sheets to make sure that we get what we're anticipating out, the generalizability of the work we've done for 2 years and having other universities work with us, but also to make sure that your university gets what you want out of the study. So that's why in those design forms, you'll see comments like your focus. What are you focusing on? Some universities are focusing on diverse learners, differentiated instruction. Some are focusing on classroom management. We have a couple of universities that are instilling some literacy into the modules, looking at that. So I'll be working on the design of the studies. I'll provide all the simSchool modules. There are 6 simulated classrooms, and there are 21 total modules each. Just to sort of recap your memory, each simulated classroom, the participants teach that class 3 times, same test, same students, and then we have 5 of those with different diverse learners in each simulation. And then we have what we call Anywhere High School classroom simulation. And this is where we've put 17 students, simulated students in the classrooms, and we have the participants teach that class 5 times. In the first assignment and then the last assignment, the first assignment is we have the participants take the surveys on how SIM students are created in the artificial intelligence part of simSchool and create themselves and teach themselves. And then their capstone project, the last module they do, is they actually create an entire simulated classroom and teach it. And those 2 assignments on the first and the back end of it, students really enjoy that. That's where we see some of the richest comments come out. The training to the participants on the use of simSchool, I'll coordinate all that. We'll provide you with all the resources you need, all the video resources for the science behind simSchool, teacher talk, how to create a Sim student. All those tools you need will be there. And then also a training, an hour-long training session that's done by Stacy with Pragmatic Solution, who is the company that houses simSchool for us. Stacy will be our contact. And also on the webinar with us is Marka Ornsby and Robin Daniel. They're out of Tax Matters out of Georgia. They will also be providing assistance and support to all our participants in the universities as we go through this study. So all that will be available for you. I'll sort of direct it. The SIM courses that have to be created in simSchool for you. That's why I asked for your course ID numbers, because your students will only see the course that they're enrolled in. So I'll be designing, it looks like about 30 or 40 something courses within simSchool, so that your students, when they log into simSchool and access their course, they'll see their course number that they know they're enrolled in to make it easier for them. We'll answer questions from the participating students. I will give you my emails, my cell phone. They can contact me directly if they have issues with simSchool. Your instructors can be trained as little or as much as they want to be involved, trained as much as they want. They can be involved as little or as much as they want to be. A lot of us are using discussion questions built into our Canvas shells or LMS systems as well. I do that. You're certainly allowed to do that type of information. We collect a whole lot of reflection questions and surveys and things that we'll talk about data-wise in a few minutes.
Before David moves on to the seventh part of our role, I would like to stress that the more your instructors are engaged in the process, we're finding the better results. It is a struggle sometimes if a faculty member is being told that this is something new they have to put into their course. And so for that reason, David here at MBU has taken on pretty much, he's the simSchool guru. So, but what the flip side of that is then sometimes faculty, they don't engage, they don't know how to respond to students' questions in class. And David's not in he's not in any of the classes unless they ask him to come. But so the more you can get the instructor who's teaching the class for which the simSchool is going to be a part of, the better. So in any way that you can get them engaged in the process, you'll find a better result.
And we have training for those. There's some resources that we can send out for the instructors as well. Stacy and Mark and Robin, they all have a lot of supporting documents to help train the instructors and things. So we'll move on to the next step, and we'll get information on what you're expecting from your university. Because again, the overall goal of this study is not only a multi-university study, is that you get what you want out of the study, that you can use at your university and make decisions like we've been able to make here in our education department. And I'll give you periodic updates during the research, like the pre-surveys. I'll be able to tell you who has, what students have completed the surveys and who needs to be prodded to complete surveys. You'll be a TA. Each instructor will be given a TA role in the simSchool course. So you can monitor your students' completion of the modules. You can review their reports to see how the data's looking, that type thing. Now, one thing that I want each of you to understand, I will be the only person in the study that will see your student ID numbers and be able to link them to data. You will not know what data comes from your students. You will not, when you see data from the study, you will not know what student said what or responded how to what survey. That IRB people really need to make sure that they understand that. When we provide you data later on, or you help with the analysis of the data, everything will be identified by that point. We do use their student ID numbers in the surveys when we collect them, because we do a parity test at the end between the pre-survey and the post-survey. So we need a way of making sure we match up the attendees. But as soon as the participants, as soon as we know that, we then de-identify that and use things like P134 and that type thing. All the data that is collected is locked and stored. It's either on a thumb drive that's locked in my office in a file cabinet that no one can get to but me. Those are some of the things that your IRB people might want to know. Periodic updates, that type of thing. All findings will be presented or published as a joint authorship. Now here's how we're doing that, and we'll talk about that a little bit later on. I think another slide. I'll be responsible for collection and analysis of data, and I'll be responsible for all surveys used in the study. Now, one thing I got to thinking about, there's about anywhere from 4 to 6 surveys, depending on how you're implementing in your course. And I got to thinking, at 25 universities and 6, that was 300 surveys. I'm not going to create 300 surveys. What I've done is we're going to create the surveys with a drop-down menu that your students can pick the university, so that it does 2 things. It makes it easy for them, and it also makes it easy for us to analyze the data in, because everything will be dumped into exported into one Excel spreadsheet. So we'll move on now to the next slide. Now, what we're asking the university to do, now, I know that we've all talked about a 1-year study, but this is going to be a 4-year study. What we're asking you to commit to now, though, is only one year of the study. Of the 3-year study, it's actually it'll end up being probably a 4-year study by the time we get everything done. We are trying to write some grant money to move forward in the future, but right now we're looking at a 4-year study. We're asking that you put it into at least one undergraduate or graduate course. Now, Brigham Young University on the Idaho site, I'll tell you right now, they are in 12 or 14 courses that they've embedded simSchool. Some have embedded in one, some up to 14. So it's really what you want for your university. That's really what we want to stress today. You'll participate at least 1 year. That means the fall semester and the spring semester. If you only have a course in the fall and it's not offered in the spring, we'd like you to maybe find another course to embed it in. You'll need to complete your IRB process if you're required to do so. And then I'm completing the IRB process from my end, and instead of doing 20 IRBs here on main campus, our IRB people are allowing me to use a cover sheet that identifies the university within. So you'll be getting copies of that in about 2 weeks, so for you to use for your studies. There'll be a collaboration agreement with each of you, and a confidentiality part of that as well, so that I'll have with you guys, so that you know that we're not sharing your data with anyone else.
Before we move on, does anyone have any questions? If you have a question, please type it in the chat box in the lower right of your screen. I want to make sure we've covered quite a bit of information. I want to give an opportunity for questions.
Dr. Bishop, I'm not sure we're doing that good a job.
Oh, here we go. Can we have a copy of the PowerPoint? Absolutely. We will be providing you with a copy of this PowerPoint and other documents. David will be, at the end today?
Yeah, I'll send the PowerPoints out probably tomorrow morning that we've used. And then, again, we're working on some other documents to get ready for you, the surveys and things like that, so that the updated surveys, like I said, I'm modifying all of them. And then a lot more information will come to you when I get everyone's design packet and know exactly how we're going to finish the design.
I don't know if I'm saying this correctly, but Dada, thank you so much for your kind words. And yes, another thing that I'm grateful that David is trying to make your lives easier with the IRB. So he'll be providing you some information that you hopefully will find helpful.
And I know Vicki, I know you're out there. I know Mike, I think you're out there. A couple of the people that have already sort of run interference with their IRB people to work with on that. I thank you so much.
I see you, Vicki.
Thanks, Vicki. Appreciate it. So we'll move on.
Okay.
Collection of data. I'm going to be in charge of the collection of data from the surveys and the simSchool models. Now, if you want to build in reflection questions or any type of things like that within your data, you're free to do so. But the sharing comes both ways. If you build in reflection questions or the discussion questions, remember that's qualitative data that we can use. So after you do that, I'd like copies of that to analyze as well. So it'll be a two-way street here and helping us on that. Co-investigators have access to all SIM courses. That's what I was mentioning before in order to view their students' participation. And like I said, as far as the surveys are concerned, I know we give points for the course, the class, whenever they finish a module and whenever they do the surveys. So the modules and things you'll be able to see as a TA. The surveys and things, I'll provide you weekly updates on who's completed the surveys, who has not. That's the only thing that you will see with for your students is yes, they've completed, no, they have not completed. The analysis of data from surveys and simSchool. Now, it says I'll be in charge. I'm not sure what charge means because I already get some spreadsheets from simSchool for just what little bit we've done in the thousands of lines and rows and that type thing. So what we're asking for, if there's any co-investigator out there that would like to be involved in the analysis of the data, then we're asking. I know of two already. Dr. Lucy Bush out of Mercer University. I think, Lucy, you're at Mercer University. And then Dr. Vicki Johnson out of Florida Gulf Coast. They have both agreed to help analyze the data. So if any of you are out there that are weirdos like myself and really like data analysis, whether it be quant qual, you are absolutely more than welcome to be a part of that data analysis, because it's going to be a tremendous amount of data.
Okay.
Distribution of data. I'll provide each participating university with a summary analysis of your data within 3 months. Now, I shouldn't have typed in 3 months. I should have just said an appropriate time. It just depends on how the data is dumped from simSchool, how long it takes for them. But we'll be able to start sending you summary of data within 3 months after that first year. So if we end, everybody ends in May of 2017 with their courses. June, July, August, we ought to begin to be able to get information out to and what's happened and how the study is going. The earlier I get it out, the more that I hope that I can keep you guys in the study for the second year. Now, we have found out that the first year is a learning process. We found out that the ease of it for our students and the benefits to our students increase every time that we roll this out. Every semester, we get better at doing this with our students. I'll give you a copy of raw data if you want it, but you're going to have to ask me for the raw data because that gets extremely large in files and things. So, but I'll be glad to give it to you if you wanted your raw data. If you do any different analysis of the raw data than I have done, then we just want you to share that with us too. And another thing, the data will be de-identified. You will not know which of your students said what in the data. The participating universities, you'll only see your data. You'll only have access to the summary of your data for your university. When we present, we'll talk about how we're going to present and all that later on with the big study. But that's sort of how we're looking at that. Now, the presentations and things, here's my idea on that, and please give me your feedback on this. On the presentations and publications involving the multi-university study, the lead author will be myself and any co-investigator that helps us analyze the data. We can't have 20 or 25 authors on the paper. So those will be how we'll do the author and co-authorship of that on the overall paper. Now, if you're looking at the co-investigators would be the second-year authors. Now, any university, any of the co-investigators at, say, the other universities will recognize you in the paper and on the paper as contributing authors, but not at your names won't go in the reference part of it. So hopefully that's doable for everyone. We've been brainstorming with some people at IRB and some other people to make sure that we're doing that. So I got a question here coming in from Dr. Johnson. If we are helping you analyze the data, we will have access to all the data. Yeah, the 1, 2, 3, or 4 investigators that are having all the data will have access to the data, but it will be de-identified. Like if you're a co-investigator helping me analyze the data, you'll just know that it's University 1, University 2, University 3. The only person that will know everything that links to everything, there'll only be one of us, and that's me. Maybe I'll have a set of backup documents with Dr. Bishop. So if, I crash in the flight coming to visit you guys or something, the study, I mean, the worst thing that I'd roll over my grave if you don't finish that study, guys. You got to understand that. So, okay, that's how we're going to do presentations and publications. Well, back up. Now, there's a different side of this. If you want to present on just your school's university at a conference you go to or whatever, a presentation or paper, the co-investigator for that university takes lead author. and then the rest of us will take co-authorship on that. I just think that's the fairest way to do it. I'm looking for feedback on that. I've never really been involved with the potential of have 20 to 25 or more, because I'm just counting the schools, and there's multiple co-investigators at each school, which leads me to one point for the IRB. I just want to know the primary co-investigator at your university, and it may not even, you may not even be doing the class, or it may not even be in your course that they're offering it, but it's you that I'm doing the contacting with. You would be the co-investigator for my IRB, and then you would have your other co-investigators on your IRB. I think at this point, I think I've covered everything that I wanted to cover. Let me just read. I do want to take time. I think we're far enough along that we can share some knowledge here. But here's I just want to run down some of the names of the universities that are participating, just to let you know how groundbreaking this research can be. We got Angelo State University, Ashland University, Barra College,
Breno,
Brenau. Sorry, Dr. Thomas, if you're out there, Tommy. Brigham Young, Idaho, Concordia University, the Wisconsin campus, Concordia University, Ann Arbor, Ferris State University, Florida Gulf Coast University, Hannibal LaGrange University up in northern Missouri. Now this will be their second year participating with us. They did a joint venture with us last year, and so did Lincoln University in Missouri. So they'll be going into their second year. And because of that joint venture with them, we felt that we could dive into this multi-university study. But y'all need to say, help us out, and remember, and say a prayer for me if you believe in prayer, because we got HLC coming in September, and guess who's doing a lot of that? So
David's in charge of all of that. So he will be very busy between now and November.
So Illinois College, Indiana State University, Liberty University, Mercer University, Montana State University, I hope will stay on board, Radford University, University of Maryland, University of Puerto Rico, University of Laverne, Vincennes University. Those are the universities that we have. And right now, without all the design sheets in, we're looking at 728 possible participants. We could go as high as 850 to 900 participants. And if you're a stats person, you know that's a lot bigger in number than the couple of hundred that we've worked with so far throughout the different semesters. So if there's anything out there you want to ask me a question about, type it in the chat room right now. We're going to talk about that, and then we'll answer those, and then we'll sort of wrap up, and then we'll go from there. If we need to chat individually again, we can always do that. So anyone out there wanna let me see if
Tommy's there.
Hey, I am here. You pronounce
Brano.
Thank you, Tommy. And what's really nice about this study, there's a couple of universities that have done some research with simSchool, not exactly what we're doing here, and they've agreed to join us. So that really makes it, when we analyze data and look at data, because we get data from three sources. We get it from the quantitative surveys, the qualitative questionnaires, but within the simSchool module itself, within what simSchool does, it just makes it so that there's just so much data captured within that module that you could analyze it for decades. I mean, I still haven't gotten to what we have collected so far. I still have not analyzed all the data.
Thank you for your comment on how efficient you are. I like to have efficient meetings. I don't like meetings just for the sake of meeting. And I really am glad you feel that way. I need to go get my car serviced, actually. I may do that tomorrow. And the fact that we have not ever done GoToMeeting. So actually for the last 30 minutes, earlier, I was wondering if we were doing it correctly and if people could hear us and see us.
And we do want to thank Stacy, Cruz from Pragmatic Solutions. She wasn't able to attend, but you'll all get to know Stacy and Mark and Robin well as we three. Will all three? Yes, Ralph. All three semesters. Yeah. You're on 12-week terms, or how are you guys on trimesters?
Or
I think
fall, spring, summer.
so. Yes,
Absolutely.
we'll match it to however you need it to be, Ralph. That was Ralph from Brigham Young talking about that. So we appreciate that.
12 week semesters.
12-week semesters. Thanks. So I forgot what I was talking about. What was I talking about?
I don't know. But we here have 8-week classes and 16-week classes, and we go continuously. So we'll work with your university and how you do your scheduling.
Yes, and we don't care if it's a graduate course, undergraduate course, 8-week, 15-week, tri-semester. The more we can get, the more types we can put it in, the more that the study will be relevant out there for all the universities. So, and the one thing I do need is some of you are putting it in, and the only observation in the class will be the simulated simSchool. Some of you are putting in where you'll have traditional observations and simSchool observations. Real quick, I'm not sure I've talked about that, but I said there'd be 4 to 6 or 4 to 7 surveys. If you do a mixed one where you do both simSchool and traditional observations, we have 2 other surveys that are designed to normalize that and collect data so that we can see if there's a difference, if your students see a difference between the simulated and the traditional observation. We did that study with Lincoln and on campus this past year that we're beginning to analyze that data on now. So, but it's all, remember that my ultimate goal, as passionate as I am about this, is that it helps your university. That's really my foremost and Dr. Bishop's foremost concern.
Does anyone have any other questions? This final slide gives you David and my information. We will share the PowerPoint with you. You all probably know the best way to get David is through email. I'm sure he will share his cell phone number there. We've got our work number here, but he'll give you a cell phone number. I'm just going to publicly thank David for all of his work and his passion. If you haven't figured it out, he's very passionate about educational research. He really does enjoy this, and we couldn't do it without you. So thank you so much for your interest in our research. How many? Good question.
They can learn how to do simSchool within just 2 or 3 hours. There's a 1-hour training video. There's probably an hour to 40 minutes, hour and a half, something like that. Different type of resources. They probably don't add up all of them to an hour of video time. So it's really easy for them to learn how to do this.
I will say, sorry to interrupt, but the biggest frustration will be their own internet connection, and they will want to blame simSchool. So if they are in a rural area or they don't have good Wi-Fi, they may get kicked out of one of their simSchool sessions, and it may not have recorded their 15 minutes that they were in the simulated classroom. So there is feedback from students on that, but again, that's out of our control. That is Wi-Fi, or it's their internet connection that is the issue.
So another thing I need to know is there's going to be about 24, 26 total modules, because we're trying to add a couple of more specific to classroom management, and the literacy modules that we use with Hannibal LaGrange, we may actually put them in here. So what if you're saying that you need 15 hours of simSchool observation? You'll just take the 15 hours, convert it into minutes, divide it by the number of modules, and that's how many clock minutes you want your students to depend on each one. We'd like for you not to go below 7.5 hours of simSchool simulation, because we know once you go below 5, it doesn't work. They don't quite get the understanding that they need. So, but we'll work with you individually. That's why I wanted that design summary information, so that we would know how to do that.
At this time, does anyone have any final questions? If not, we will.
Diego, if you can hear me, I have not met you that I'm aware of. Maybe it was there. Which university are you with? While we're waiting to see if he responds, We'll let Dr. Bishop go ahead and finish.
Yes. So Diego, if you're still on, just send us let us know where you're from. If not, you can. I'm sure David will find you.
I'll find you.
So thank you again for spending just a little bit of time this afternoon with us. We're very, very excited to be working with you, and don't hesitate to contact us if you have any questions. You will be hearing from us soon. You're welcome, everyone. Thanks.
Thanks, and good night or good day.